If every human on Earth vanished tomorrow, there is a room 130 meters underground built to still be functioning 200 years from now. It being underground and kept secret isn't for security or privacy. It is intentionally frozen, sealed behind blast-proof doors, inside a mountain, on an island where polar bears outnumber humans. No one put gold or weapons in there. What they buried was food. Almost 1 million seed samples from nearly every country on our world stacked in the dark. Right now, at this very second, even if no one is watching. But there is something that bothers me. Billionaires don't bury such massive effort, money, and international cooperation under the glaciers for a simple just in case. The real question is, what is that storm that we can't see in the rush of our daily lives, but they have already noticed approaching and started preparing for? The media has called this place the Doomsday Vault for years. But if you ask the scientists behind those steel doors, what you will hear is very different. And to be honest, much more terrifying. Think about it like this. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle after a bad storm ruined his backyard garden. 2 seasons worth of tomatoes, gone. Overnight. He was upset about it for a week. That was it. Just a backyard. Now, imagine that happening to an entire country's food supply. Not an ordinary garden, a nation. This isn't hypothetical. It already happened. Before the war in Syria, there was a seed bank near Aleppo. It housed some of the world's oldest, most genetically diverse wheat and barley varieties, plants that had adapted over thousands of years to survive drought and disease. Then, the war came. The building was damaged, and the staff had to flee. Researchers lost access to a piece of humanity's agricultural memory, almost overnight. This is the part people don't think about. We assume our food is permanent, but actually, it's not. It's hidden away in specific places, and those places can burn, flood, be bombed, or simply be forgotten. Scientists ask themselves a rather disturbing question. What if this happens everywhere, all at once? That very question is the core reason why the Svalbard Global Seed Vault exists. Consider this, an island called Spitsbergen, closer to the North Pole than to mainland Norway. Polar bears outnumber humans. For part of the year, the sun never rises, and a tunnel carved into a mountain on that island opens into 3 rooms built to outlast governments, wars, and climate disasters. Countries send duplicate samples of their seeds here, not the originals, just the backups, so that a single catastrophe anywhere on Earth can't wipe out a crop variety forever. And you know what the most fascinating part is? The vault doesn't rely on constant electricity. Even if the power failed tomorrow, and no one came to fix it, the seeds inside would remain frozen and viable for decades. By some estimates, certain seeds could remain usable for over 200 years. Why? One word: permafrost. The mountain itself does most of the work. Permafrost means ground that remains frozen year-round, sometimes having been frozen for thousands of years. By building 130 meters into that rock, engineers created a natural freezer that doesn't need machines to stay cold. Even if every generator on the island shut down, the surrounding rock would keep the internal temperature well below freezing on its own. On top of that, they added mechanical cooling, bringing the vault down to about -18 degrees Celsius, which is the ideal temperature for long-term seed storage. The cold slows a seed's metabolism almost entirely. This is less like storage and more like suspended animation. I read the original engineering proposal for this place. It reads more like a disaster recovery plan than an agricultural project. Blast-proof doors, airlocks, motion sensors, structural reinforcement designed to withstand explosions, earthquakes, and even rising sea levels from melting ice caps. You don't build something like this just to protect tomato seeds. This vault isn't run by a single government. It's a joint project between Norway, a global crop trust, and dozens of countries and institutions that don't always agree on other things. Politically opposed nations have sent their seeds to sit side by side in the same frozen room. And some of the biggest names in the philanthropic world have heavily funded this over the years. Foundations tied to names like Bill Gates and the Rockefeller family have poured resources into global seed preservation efforts connected to this vault. I'm not going to say there's a hidden countdown clock there. According to any public evidence, there isn't. But I will say this. When you see this level of coordinated, well-funded, long-term planning around a single resource, it tells you something about how seriously the people at the very top are taking the risk. Modern agriculture has actually made our food supply not less, but more fragile. 100 years ago, farmers grew thousands of different wheat varieties, each adapted to a different soil, climate, or pest. Today, a massive percentage of the world's calories comes from just a handful of super-efficient crop varieties grown on a massive scale. This is great for feeding billions of people cheaply, but for resilience, it is terrible. If a disease, or a bad season, hits the wrong variety at the wrong time, in the wrong place, the damage can spread to the food supply of an entire continent because we have narrowed our options down to so few. So this vault isn't just a backup. It is evolution's spare parts drawer. If one day we need to breed more resilient crops quickly because of drought, disease, or a changing climate, those older, more diverse seed types might be the only starting point we have left. To be honest, when I first read some of this, I didn't believe it was real. It sounded like something straight out of a movie script, a secret Arctic vault, funded by billionaires, protecting humanity's food supply against unnamed disasters. Then, I found the actual construction photos. Long, frozen corridors, shelves stacked with sealed foil packets, each labeled by country and crop, silent, clinical. And somehow, that made it feel more real, not less. This wasn't a movie. It's already built, already full, and it has been growing there for over a decade. So, I want to ask you too, what happens if that door really has to be opened? Not for a routine check, but because a country has truly lost its food supply and desperately needs a new one. This has already happened once on a smaller scale. A few years ago, samples had to be withdrawn to help rebuild the damaged Syrian seed collection we just mentioned. It worked, exactly as intended. A backup restored what a crisis had destroyed. But that was a partial withdrawal from a single collection following a regional conflict. The vault was built for something much bigger than that. It was built for scenarios where multiple seed banks fail simultaneously. Climate catastrophes, large-scale conflicts, infrastructure collapse in several regions, all at the same time. If we ever reach a point where large sections of that vault need to be emptied and used, this will no longer be a headline about agriculture. It will be a massive headline about survival. So, maybe this vault isn't actually about seeds. Maybe it's an insurance policy against our own overconfidence. A silent confession that even the people who understand food systems best aren't entirely sure our current system will endure. If that door is truly opened all the way, it won't mean the world has ended. It will mean the world outside has changed enough to need our backup plan. Do you think we will really need to open that vault in our lifetime? Or is this just the ultimate just in case. As in every video, I care deeply about your comments, and I try to reply to all of them. But I am especially curious about your thoughts on this topic, because this isn't just something that concerns a certain part of society. It is important for all of us, and it affects every single one of us. Will the vault really be opened one day? And if it has to be opened, what state will our world be in? Don't forget to share your valuable thoughts, and don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can be informed too. Dear Deep Science family, we have come to the end of this topic. Don't forget to like the video so more people can discover these subjects, to stay informed about things you don't hear every day but that concern all of us. You can subscribe and join our family. Until next time, stay healthy.